Hello, beautiful ones. Hey, it's Viv here. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm a meditation teacher and holistic stress coach, and I have to do one thing. My volume wasn't working before. Can someone let me know if you can hear me this time? I basically am going to restart the live. Oh, okay. Perfect. I don't know why. I literally did nothing. I restarted my computer. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Sunday, and I typically do a live on Sunday. Yeah, hey, Catch. So, if you're new to my channel, I typically talk about holistic wellness and spirituality. And my primary audience is women. I talk about chakras, the divine feminine, um, and much more. And also like going for our dreams and intuition. So spiritual topics. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So I am in the UK, guys. I made it. Please watch my previous video. I did a reading for the month of December. I brought back the spirit messages because intuition is a huge part of my interest, and what I want you to tune into is our intuition, especially for women. So, our feminine intuition. Okay. So, do watch that. It just came out like 2 days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday. And it is for three different collectives for the month of December. So, please do watch that. Let me know if you've seen it already. Have you seen it already? So, I love this wallpaper. Isn't it cool? I really think it's beautiful. Let me see if I can show you more. It's like these giant, I don't know, poppies. I don't know, blue. And this moving camera must be a new Apple thing. I've noticed it in other people's lives too. It's like zoom, it's like moving for them. I think they still need to work out the kinks on that. So we're going to talk about accepting divine help. I've got my notes here. Divine help and support, because that is something I'm very interested in. It's it's very woo-woo, but it's about manifestation. It's about living a life of more ease. Okay. So please say hi if you're here live. Say hi. My volume appears to be better this time. I literally talked for 20 minutes. And because there was actually a competing live, and my channel has some overlaps with that live, um, it took a while for someone to actually tell me, oh, to actually take the effort to type. And then two people did. They said, we can't hear you. So I think that you can hear me now. So I am really, really happy. Oh, thank you. Prince a goddess. I haven't done a princess one because I'm like more, thank you though. I really appreciate that. So yeah, my affirmations and my meditations are the most popular. In terms of view time though, a lot of times the lives, which are for community members. So how can we accept divine help and support? I'm going to share a story, which I got way into the previous time I tried this. It's so funny. Um, but it's an interesting story and it has a lesson embedded in it. And it was real. It just happened a couple days ago. And then I'll give 3 tips on how to get more divine help because I think we're missing it, especially Black women. I think even though the majority, most of us are very prayerful, are believers, come from a Christian background, like I did and do. I now consider myself a mystic and spiritual. I've always been spiritual more than religious, even as a child. I always like to tell the story that with my family, they were nagging me one Easter time. They're like, we're going to get your hair done. And, I was like a preteen. They would have to take me and they're like, you're going to have to dress up and blah, 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 because we're going to church. And my response to them was, and I'm sorry, this is a very spiritual response. I said, well, what kind of God would care how I was dressed? Who wouldn't accept people? I'm not going to be accepted by God because I'm not dressed up. And I literally might have been, maybe I was about 12. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. There's no sense in that. If I was created by this divine being, you're going to say that they don't love or accept me if my dress isn't new and, I don't have a church hat. And my parents just were like, what is wrong with this child? Why, what, because they were more looking at the societal No, no, we dress up. It's maybe, it's a sign of respect, but it's also very much about showing other people. And I just went literally to like, doesn't make sense. Anyway, spiritual, mystical, there are truths in very many spiritual traditions. So let me share this story with you of how I finally turned around and accepted help. Okay. By being open to it. Okay. So, divine feminine, a lot of us, and again, depending on your background, and I don't want to presume, my channel has a huge spectrum, but we might have come from a background of some hardship or some traumas and been kind of locked ourselves down. Okay. So, I made it to the UK, but I need to get to where I'm going to stay. And a couple hours outside of London. London is a very complex train system, not as complex as New York, but I don't know it. And guys, so I'm at my hotel close to the airport. And this man well, first of all, I barely, literally the bus is like pulling out as I step out. The bus that would have taken me to the train that was going to, like the underground, which was going to take me to like the longer train, right? And so I was like, and there's a story there. I didn't listen to my intuition, and that's why I missed that bus. Okay, so the bus drives away, and I'm like, okay, it'll take another 15 minutes. I'll catch the train that I have to catch because I have pre-bought my tickets. Okay, get some tea for the story, get some water, get some wine, whatever you're drinking. So I'm standing there, but I start to get stressed. Like I said, I have to get a specific train, or at least that's how the tickets made it sound. They were these discount tickets, and I had to make two connections. I'm standing there. This guy comes up to me and just starts talking to me. And you guys, he's talking and talking and talking. And he's like, kind of bragging, telling me about his life and, without saying as much, talking about his successes and all that. And people often do that to me because I think that they get a sense that I'm a caring person, right? Okay, are you still with me? So I'm scared I'm gonna miss my bus that I bought the ticket for, the train, right? It's gonna mess up, and I think it was transferable, but they basically are like, this is the train you should be on. So I'm starting to get stressed. This guy will not stop talking to me at the bus stop. Finally, I'm like, I'm not a morning person, so I may not be following what you're telling me. Like, I'm nice enough to tell the person, I'm not really listening to you. Anyway, he keeps talking. Finally, I'm getting more and more scared and more upset. Three buses, three of different numbers come. The same other bus comes three times, and the bus I need doesn't come. He starts telling me, well, don't worry, it's okay. You'll make your train. You'll make it. When's your train? Oh, you're gonna make it. And I'm like, okay, because this is the one I have to take. Then he's talking. Finally, I'm getting so irritated, you guys. He just didn't seem to pick up, and I just didn't want to hear him talk about his life. Finally, something in me said, I'm just going to say to this guy, can you help me? So cut what he's talking about. And I said, I think I need your help. What am I going to do? What am I doing here? Because I feel like I'm about to be late. Once I ask for help, and that's what I'm saying, divine feminine, ask for help, be open to help. That's what we're talking about. Hi, if you're just joining. So the guy, instead of just continuing on about his story, and he was talking nonstop, you could barely cut in. He's like, oh, and he starts telling me, well, okay, no, the way you're doing it, like, show me your ticket. I show him the ticket. He's like, no, no, no. That's what they're making you do is so convoluted and so it's just backwards. You don't need to do all that. I'm telling you, it's an easier way for you to get into London to where you need to go to catch the train. I'm like, dude, but I don't know what it is. And I've pre-bought these connections. He's like, don't worry about it. Long story short, this man who started out being annoying turned out to be more of an angel for me. Hi, guys. I see the numbers going up. The other live must have ended. I'm talking about accepting divine help and support and how to see it. So I'm at this bus stop in the UK, right outside my motel. I need to now get transport out to where I'm going to stay outside of London, right? Because London's very expensive. Um, and so I'm like, you know what? And he sees I'm getting upset, and he's like, don't worry, don't worry. It's going to be okay. But I was like, okay, I think I need your help. what turned out to happen is he literally almost took my hand and escorted me, you guys, literally. Hey there, hey Mel. This man who I did not know went from being annoying to he literally just like, okay, follow me. We're gonna do this. Took me through, I didn't even have to pay attention, you guys. He's literally just like, here's where you're going to go here. Okay, it took me here. Okay, now we're going to do this. And I didn't have to pay attention and I didn't have to stress about it. He's like, you're going to be fine. He took me basically from outside my hotel to exactly the train. He stopped. He's like, okay, this is the train, which was the train I originally had bought the ticket for. He goes, that's the one you need. Walked me through everything, but he even began carrying my luggage. Do you see how this was spirit helping me? That's why he was also quite persistent in talking and connecting with me. Now, again, you still have to use your judgment, ladies, especially women, divine feminine, use your judgment. But he basically, at a certain point, I'm like, I can't keep up with you. You know, you're going so fast. He's like, oh, no, no, don't worry about it. And then he's like, well, let me just take your luggage. So now I've got someone who I don't know helping me through the London Underground, making all the connections, carrying my luggage. I was escorted through to where I needed to go. It was amazing. And so my point is, oftentimes, I mean, I wanted to hug the guy, but then something in the back of my mind said, well, don't hug him. You don't know him. Don't give him a hug. But there was this moment, you know, of like eye contact, and he says to me, I feel, he didn't say I feel good, but he goes, I've done my good deed for the day. And you could tell he felt good. And I just was like, thank you so, so much, you know. And I do play the age card. I'm starting to play the age card now because it's true. I had a huge backpack, you guys, like you see with those Germans, it wasn't that big, but you know, big backpack. And I had my rolling luggage and there's steps and he's not taking the elevator. Mind you, come to find out the dude is like 60. He didn't look 60. Um, you know, but he's just like going the stairs and I'm like, I can't keep up with you and carried my luggage. So my point is, spirit, there's often help that you may not see. You still have to, of course, be discerning, but if you're a spiritual being, you're watching this channel, a lot of times when things are hard in the real world, and this is deep, I really want you guys to get this, because like even there was another channel just having a live, and there's some overlap in my audience, and so when I first went live, funny enough, nobody could hear me, but literally nobody was watching my live. And so nobody told me they couldn't hear me because everybody was over at this other live. Now that I'm doing this, I have people watching, even though the first time was a mistake. You see, so spirit, always remember there's good happening. Always remember, even if something bad is happening, there's also good happening. And perhaps switch your attention to the good. So this guy basically literally did rescue me. I got the exact train I wanted. His way, he took me the quicker way, he said, and it probably was the quicker way because I would have been late the other way, right? And without me having to like figure anything out, he's like, okay, here, now you need a card, you need your credit card. But they don't, that's how the British system works, you guys. Like to get through the system, they just need a card, which kind of validates, you validate in, you validate out in the London system. Anybody else travel through London, let me know. So trust there is help for us. I think especially Black women, we are taught to be so independent. I've definitely seen that. We're taught to just fight for ourselves, take care of yourself. Nobody's going to take care of you. And we're talking about, you know, the divine here, right? And how can the divine work through other human beings? So let me know. I'm going to pause here. I want to know what you think. Catch, are you still here? And Mel, welcome, welcome, welcome. You haven't been because I haven't been doing them because, Mel, I had been packing up my whole life to move to the UK. Not move to the UK. That's not what I mean. I'm basically slow traveling, like I was doing earlier in the year. Okay. So Mel, you didn't miss them. Kat says no. I don't know what the no is too. You have to type a little bit more, if you would like to. So Mel, I think You did not miss a live in the last few weeks. Also, replay folks from the future, hello. Please do watch my I have a reading for the month of December. It's very, very positive. It's for 3 different collectives. So you choose, it's a you choose. And I just did it live with the tarot cards that I had. Okay, so do watch that because it's relevant for now. And it was very positive, and it also inspired this live that I'm doing. Let me know, do you feel tuned into your intuition? Do you feel that you have help from God, from spirit, literally in daily life? And that's what I'm getting at. Because again, many, many Black women, and my audience has a diverse audience, not only Black women, but certainly speaking to the Black community, many of us are very prayerful. Many of you, are come from a Christian background. And so I'm I know you believe that you are helped and guided, but I'm saying in daily life, you can tune in, you can listen. Okay. That's what I'm really getting at. And then I'll look at your comments. I see some comments coming in. So that story, again, this man randomly glommed onto me. And, my New Yorker mind is like, I didn't think there was going to be a scam, but I was just like, eh. And then, as I said, it quickly became a helper, like an angel, in terms of supporting me, getting me where I needed to go, literally carrying my luggage for me because I was getting tired, I basically have not all my possessions on me. That's not true. But so I'm going to look at your comments now, and then I'm going to share 3 ways to be more open to receiving. Okay. Especially for women, be more open to receiving that the help is there. Okay. Thank you. The earrings are not expensive. The wallpaper, let me see. But again, this camera is doing its own thing, guys. This is the new Apple, I believe. It's just auto focusing when you try to show something. Isn't that beautiful wallpaper? I do love it. So let's make it go still and see what it'll, okay. Thank you. My earrings are not expensive, but I think the background is it's very comfortable where I am staying. It's very, very comfortable. So welcome and elevate. Hey, I am talking about, especially for Black women in my audience, accepting divine help. What I wanted to say too, and it did refer to the other person who was live, just in general, most channels on YouTube are telling you how to do something in the world, right? Obviously, that's why you're watching them, or it's entertainment. What many of you are missing, folks from the future, folks who are here live, is there's an energetic basis to things before you start the doing in the world. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm speaking to you about now is if you can tap in more. That's why my website currently, and it has been for years, the name of my website is In the Flow of Magic. And I don't mean magic like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. I mean the magical flow of life. You can be in it. You can have that like the river moving you along. Okay. So I really hope that you are able to hear that. So how can you do that more? The first thing is these whispers, this divine help, this divine support is often subtle. Okay. So I'm looking at my notes. Even for me, who is really, really tuned in, like really tuned into signs. Okay. To signs. Because how can the divine speak to you? You're going to hear it, know it, or feel it in your body or in your mind, very often as a whisper. I wrote, the mind will be quiet. When your mind will be quiet. The quieter your mind, the more you'll hear what you are to do. You'll hear the divine guidance. And I wrote also persistent thought. So you might have a persistent idea, and it is never to harm someone. So any of you watching, if that's what you're getting, then that's not what I'm talking about. It'll be a persistent thought, but very soft. Typically, now sometimes I know you guys have heard about people who right before a crash or something, they heard slow down. Tell me yes if you've heard that. Like slow down, and they slow down and then the truck in front of them goes out of control. It can be loud if it's something crucial, life threatening. But most of the time, what I'm talking about, accepting divine help, it's going to be subtle. So the more quiet your mind, the more you'll hear, and it will be probably repetitive. You'll be like, God, I don't know, I really want to take that class. I really feel like I want to go to this part of Arizona. I really feel like I want to do that camping trip. Oh, I really feel like I want to take that class and like that drawing class, something like that. So, hi, I see the numbers going up. I'm talking about how to accept divine support and help. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Because we have invisible help. The world now, okay, I'm just going to go there, is very toxic. There's a lot of very dark, negative energy, not dark as in womb, not dark as in night, but dark as in, I don't want to say demonic because I don't usually use that language on my channel. Also, I don't think we need to get into fear because the fear feeds that energy. I'm going to repeat that. The fear. You've seen movies where the monster kind of feeds on things, different things, even literally the energy of the people. So, this energy that is kind of moving around the planet feeds on fear. So, if you can keep yourself out of fear, you're going to be in a stronger place. So, accepting divine help, it's there for you, okay? But it's going to be subtle unless it's life threatening. If it's life threatening, you might hear a very like a voice say, do this or whatever. And again, it will not tell you to harm anyone. I dated someone briefly who ended up being arrested for, I think it was burglary. I forget. Guys, I forget what he did. And he said to me as he touched a doorknob, that's the part I remember. He touched a doorknob, he got like a shock. And it wasn't just like it wasn't like electrostatic. He got like a shock and he still went through the door. He noticed it, but he went through the door. And on the other side of the door, like there were cops, and he ended up being arrested. And I was like, wow. And this guy is not woo woo at all, not woo woo in the least. And he's like, he looked back at that and he's like, I knew it. I felt it. Right. So men often call what I'm talking about, I'm calling it intuition. Men will call it instinct, um, their gut feeling. It's the same. I do think it's the same we're talking about, but men don't like to call it intuition. Okay. Um, so it will be subtle. Pay attention to your subtle thoughts, subtle inclinations. It might be, oh, I don't know. I think I want to go try that new restaurant. That new coffee shop looks interesting. Maybe I don't know. I usually go Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, let me stop there today. Again, I can't guarantee. Let me know what you're thinking about this. I'm not guaranteeing that it'll be positive because it's going to come through your connection to spirit. But the more you listen to that, the more you'll trust it, the more hits you'll get. So those of you who came in late, for me, this came through just 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. I was panicking and spirit sent help to guide me to where I needed to go and literally to carry my heavy luggage for me. And it felt really, really supportive. So number two, how to accept divine help and support and feel it and know it. I wrote, yes, it can be something irritating, can be the seed of help. So, like my situation that I just told you, where this man, like I said, I was finding him so irritating because he would not stop talking. And I would turn my back to him. I'm looking at the bus, looking the direction the bus is coming. He's still talking. Sometimes spirit gets your attention by giving you an irritation. You've all seen in movies, and I'm saying this because oh gosh. Um Stephanie Perry just said this about Christmas markets and movies. In movies where somebody like trips over somebody or their dog bites them, something that seems negative. Give me a yes if you're with me on this. I want to know what you guys think, right? I want to be just in my room talking to myself. There are 6 of you here live right now. I want to know what you think about this. Give me an example if this has happened to you. So, this is one way spirit can try to get your attention. Something negative will happen, and out of that, very directly here, I'm saying very directly, something positive happens. So yeah, you may, it seems like this is going wrong, things are going bad, somebody's rude, and then you turn around and you meet your old friend is behind you. And because you got that delay with that rude person, this old friend that you haven't seen in, and I feel like I'm channeling for somebody here, you haven't seen them in 25 years, you end up like seeing them again. And it's a fabulous reunion. You wanted to connect with them. So a second sign is sometimes when things look like they're going really badly wrong, stop. Okay, stop, take a breath, and I did that with this guy because I was getting so irritated. I literally, there's a point where I'm just looking straight ahead. He's talking in this towards the left, and I'm just like, what? And that's when I turned and said, can you help me? Right. And so something negative is going on. I want you to breathe, stop, and trust that there's something positive that you either need to see and it's trying to get your attention. Maybe you need to say or do something. You need to see, you need to do something or say something. Okay. I'm going to stop until I get a yes from someone. Okay. I want to know what you think. And while I wait for a comment, before I give the third way to get more divine support in your life, okay, to make it easier. Great, I see something coming in. To make it easier for you to live. This is what I mean by being in the flow of magic. Again, the name of my website is In the Flow of Magic. And I always say to people, and I think I said this 2 times in the last couple of days, even when bad things happen to me, good things happen to me. So something like that's very common for me. It'll seem like something's wrong and I'm like, ugh, and then there's something comes out of it. Typically someone will help me. It's very common for me for that to happen. Okay. And the more spiritual you become, the more that will happen. It's not that bad things won't happen, but good things will also happen. Okay. So Elevated says, last night I was so irritated by someone so close to me. Now I'm just pausing and just being quiet. Wait. So it was last night. Yeah. That they were, I wonder. So try and see, you'll know why they irritated you, right? Thank you for sharing that. But what it is often there's something, just look into it, like what is going on, right? So now you're pausing. Okay, good, good, good. Because there's something, I mean, when somebody's irritating you, it is kind of showing you something about yourself, right? Maybe it might be, for instance, with this guy, some people would say the more rational, "Well, you need better boundaries so people don't talk to you." Um, but if you're spiritual, that may or may not be your answer. You're a little more open to get the true answer. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Mel, any thoughts? And Catch, if you're still here, any thoughts? Before I give my third and final, I'm not promising I'm going to do every day, but it's funny for December. Some people do Vlogmas. I'm watching someone do Vlogmas, but I'm also watching this wonderful woman who just, I think in August, she's like, I'm just going to do videos every day. And she's talked about a lot of different things, different areas of her expertise. And so I'm thinking, not even because of Vlogmas, but just to bring my channel back up. Oop, got a new comment. Oh, wait, let's see. Yeah, to get it more activated. And now that I am in the UK where I feel pretty comfortable, I'm thinking that I may do daily or maybe every other day, maybe every other day. All right, I'm going to give the final thing. I know you're listening because I can see the numbers are here. The final way to get more help from God, from Great Spirit, from your angels, your allies, or ancestors is to ask. And I wrote, ask for signs. Okay. So again, many cultures, South American, African, old Europe, people saw signs in everything. Now, of course, scientifically, scientists would say, oh yeah, that's wishful thinking or blah, blah, blah. Again, these people are not as tuned in to the cosmos. They're not as tuned into nature. They literally won't see the message They won't understand it. So put that out of your head because you know in your heart that God talks to you, whether you think Jesus directly, whatever your religious background, whether you feel your ancestors, ask for signs. So how can these signs come up? And let me know, do any of you feel that there's a particular type of sign that you're more open to? So for me, signs can come through nature, okay? Because I do shamanic practices. Shamanic is literally just directly connecting to spirit. That's what shamanic means. It means connecting to other worlds, whether it is ancestors, whether it's spirit allies, very much linked to the natural world. Okay. So ask for signs and then watch, maybe go out for a walk and watch the behavior of animals, watch the behavior of the sky. Maybe you run into someone that literally answers your question. Okay. Give me a yes, or if you're intrigued, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. And then, so that's one way I ask for signs, but then how to see them in nature, in other people. So be open. God has to talk through, or I mean, it can be direct. Sometimes we'll get a direct, what we call a download. When you hear people say a download, it's just a direct knowing, just a direct like answer. But often it can come through other people saying something to you or recommending a book. They're like, oh, or you're listening to a podcast and they're like, oh, well, this entrepreneur did this and blah, 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 and saved her company. And you're like, oh my gosh, I had just asked about this business question. You guys with me? So it can come through people, through nature, through media. How else? Through a feeling in your body. You may get a sensation in your tummy or in your heart chakra or in your throat. You may open a book. So again, media. You may open a book or a magazine and literally see the answer. So anyway, that's how you can ask for signs. I'm going to stop here because I'm not getting more comments. I would take your comments if you had a question. I'm going to give 1 minute if anybody has a question or comment. And then, yeah, I'm going to go. I feel really good. My skin is already looking better. I just have a little bit of concealer on, but that's it, and a little bit of lipstick. Again, the UK is so like moist, right? It's damp. And I had been out for a walk. And so it's like your skin doesn't get like dried out because it's like misty, rainy, it's gray, but it's good for your skin. So yeah, if there are any questions or comments, put them in now. Otherwise, I am going to go, and I'm thinking I really may ramp up and just do some videos every day, or like I said, every other day. Let me know what you think. Let me know topics you're interested in. Some of them I may pre-record though. Um, the woman I was watching, her name is Glow Antanamo. She's like, I don't edit my videos. She's like, I'm human. I'm not perfect. So if you hear me go, she's just like, I'm training people that I'm human. I'm not an AI. I'm not a robot. So she's like, she doesn't go back and edit her videos, which I kind of get that. Now, her videos are different. When I do like my meditations or guided affirmations, I think those need editing. But oh, hey, I did not know, Sierra, you were here. Hey, thanks for your like comment. Let me know though, what do you think? Did anything like was anything sort of new to you or interesting? Not even new to you. Sierra, what was, if I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, was anything new to you or that piqued your interest, that got you thinking and elevated? What about you? And Mel, did you go like make dinner and mute me? So yeah, I feel really good. My hair is a little bit wild, but not really. Let me know if you've been to the UK. Let me know what you're interested in. Again, I talk about spiritual topics. Very interested in manifestation and living a life in flow, living a spiritual life, a life that pulls from all different, hi, Beatless Beauty, um, traditions. That's just how I am. Okay. Beatless says, "Hey Viv, I'm late to the live. Curious to know the difference between Wiccans and shamans." Okay, that's actually a great question. I'll answer as best I can. I don't have like the perfect answer. I'll tell you why in a second. I am not Wiccan. Wiccan, as I understand it, I feel like is a modernized, um, and again, now this is going to scare some people, and that's a lot of that is media, and I'm not in that camp. Wiccan is sort of modern or updated when you hear about witches and witchcraft. Wiccan is like a reconfiguration of like yeah, like witchcraft practices, right? As I understand it. And it's a particular tradition. So I am not Wiccan. I don't have anything against Wiccan. I I was getting a reading from a very well-known tarot reader. I won't mention her name here because I'm also a reader. Readers, sometimes we want some confirmation. And I went to her once and she's like, and she was reading, and she goes, "You're a mystic." So I feel my whole thing is we can have a direct connection to the divine. So I'm not into like Wiccan a lot of time. There's rituals. I mean, you've seen movies. And movies, of course, always have an evil witch, typically um, who is like trying to do something. So Wiccan is sort of an updated and has its own rituals and methodology. A shaman it's actually very different. Okay, so I know more about what a shaman is. The word shaman actually comes from um, I think it's the central steppes of Europe. Hold on. It's a word that it's comes from a specific culture in, I want to say, like somewhere between where Europe hits Asia. What a shaman does is what many of us, especially in the Black community, when somebody's like, we'd say that when they talk to spirit or they're talking to the ancestors, you go into an altered state. It can be using substances. It can be using drumming. Most of the time, it's drumming or rattling. They get into like a trance, kind of. Okay. This is talking about shamans now. And they basically enter other worlds. So they may talk to an ancestor of theirs and get information, like say a girl in the village is sick or one can't get pregnant, right? Okay, why does she keep miscarrying? And they may see images, they may see, and then they interpret it for that culture and they give a solution. It's basically like a priest, but for a sort of earth-based pagan religion. All of us, all of you watching, as my mom would say, black, white, or indifferent. I'm not sure who indifferent people are. This is what my mother would say, black, white, or indifferent. Okay. Um, in your early history. So again, whether you're Asian, whether you're European, or whether African, South American, and most of us have a lot of that all different in us. The early religions were more shamanic. So they would have basically medicine men or medicine women who would commune with spirit and be like, okay, you need this herb. Okay, your mother-in-law is sending you like evil vibes. She doesn't like you. She's sort of tampering with the marriage situation. Okay, so that's like what a shaman is. So traditional African religions, if you were classing them, they would basically be shamanistic. Okay. I hope that makes sense because it's like directly with the gods, like direct connection or through spirits, deities, whatever you'd want to call them. So I practice shamanism a little bit as well. And so that's how I could kind of speak more on that. For me to enter that more of that liminal state between worlds, I use drumming. That's what I was taught to use. And of course, when you think of the African tradition, drumming, I mean, you've seen in movies, you've seen whether it's old movies where they were making them evil or more modern movies, drumming is a way to change your state. Okay. So a shaman, that's kind of what more of a shaman is. So Sierra says, "I think this conversation was insightful and I definitely need to hear. Sometimes it feels very lonely in this world, but the reminder that divine help is always there." Yes. And I think It might have literally been for you, honestly. I always say this, I tend to have a small group of people coming into the lives, and then many more watch later, but the group I get will always be like, "Oh my gosh, this resonated for me," and often it'll be multiple people. So you're the only one saying this now, but again, when I came in here, I was like, somebody needs to hear this because I think people don't understand that. And I think especially younger people do feel quite alone. And you're absolutely not alone, you know? Do you guys like this scarf? I freaking love this scarf. I got it the last time I was in the UK. And I know it's like an acid green, right? It is. Look at it. It's like acidic, but I really like it. And then with the black, I love that colors. My friend Kenny would always make fun of me. He's like, "Oh, and actually I like even doing it like that." My friend Kenny would be like, "You love that acid, that like citrine, that like and I do. And I've actually wanted to start wearing more scarves like this. But again, where I am, they'll just be like, what is she Muslim? Like, what is she? And I don't want to, I'm not Muslim. And, you know, then people are like, oh, with it. But I really like how it looks. And I like also actually having a little covering on my head. Can feel what some people have said is it's almost like containing your energy. Um, you know, I mean, the crown chakra, but then like kind of containing your energy within you. So anyway, let me know if you like this. And oh, it's little plants. It's little cacti. It's cacti or cactuses. I don't know which one you say. Okay, comments are coming in now. When I start rambling, you guys start commenting. Okay. So thank you, Sierra, for saying that. Beatless says, I've seen both in movies. Oh, of course, right? It was racism and xenophobia is the other word. I grew up on those movies, right? They'd land in Africa and the natives, and they'd literally have a bone through their nose. But they would be like killing somebody. They'd be cooking somebody in a pot. Like they would make them so horrible and just like a stereotype. So yes, I mean there are, you know, people are still in Africa. It's more like tribal affiliations because everybody's brown skin, so it's not like, oh, I'm black. Which I bring that up because somebody else I think is misunderstanding that. They were talking about, oh gosh, the Somalis. I won't get into it, but the Somalis who were like, well, we're not black. I think when an African American hears that, they hear it through a certain lens. And again, I didn't want to go into this too much, but somebody in the comments pointed out that they're identifying, they're not saying that their skin isn't brown. What they're saying is they're Somali or now they may have cited, we're not going to say, they may have, and maybe they did, but I'm like, you know, if they're still going to be like attacked and stuff, I don't think it's fair to be like, oh yeah, well you get what you deserve. I don't think that's a spiritual response. So I don't know if you guys could follow what I was just saying, but um if that made sense. You'd have to actually know the video I'm talking about. Apparently, Somalis were or are going to be, you know, ICE is looking at the Somalis in, I think, Chicago, I forget where. And a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, yeah, they don't consider themselves Black. So we're not even worried. Black people were saying, we don't care. Um, I don't think that's a good attitude. And I do think that some of the Somalis, at least, were just like, we identify ethnically, right? With, oh, I'm this group. Or supposedly some said, well, we're Arab. Anyway, you guys with me? It's complicated. I didn't even mean to get into that. But things are complex and people don't like for things to be complex. Um, mhm. Yeah, I mean, so there's one guy, Malidoma, you guys, Malidoma Some. He's kind of been really accepted and he comes from a tribe in Africa and he had a lineage and he's been able to teach Westerners. And there are other African teachers in different lineages they're basically shamans. They're teaching you how to work with spirit, connect with the ancestors, and it's a religion, right? And as well as tied into the culture. Okay, it's basically what was stripped away when Africans were brought over to the United States, right? Originally. But thank you for saying you love the scarf. Thank you. Um, Now you guys, do you have any questions for me? I may split it off at the end, but I'm feeling like I want to do videos. I actually have good lighting where I'm staying. And so I think maybe I'll do some daily videos and I'll cover different topics and I'll see which you guys resonate with. And then you'll also let me know. So this one was really about for women, the divine feminine. You need to understand, especially if you are into the divine feminine, that a huge part of that identification is that you're an open channel to guidance and support, again, from your ancestors. And these could be ancient ancestors, okay? I don't just mean your grandma. This could be 10 generations back. I believe we have in our DNA and in our cells the understanding. I know that. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. Maybe this day thing I'll do because I can talk about different topics and then see what you guys resonate with on my channel. Also, before I go, I do want to say I'm getting new Oracle cards. I mentioned that I didn't travel, you guys, I have like 15 decks of tarot Oracle cards. I did not want to make my whole suitcase tarot cards. That would, first of all, look weird, and I wouldn't have clothes. So I prioritized having clothes. Not a lot, so you'll see me in some of the same things. But I just ordered from Amazon, unfortunately, Amazon UK, I ordered 2 Oracle decks. So I am available for readings once I get those decks, and I will show you guys them because I think staying tapped into your intuition, it's just a tool. That's all. It's not the magic of the cards. It's a tool for you to tap into your own intuition. So I've ordered 2 new Oracle decks. One of them is a round deck, which will be interesting. I've never had a round deck, and I will show them to you definitely. Also, I do offer a reading that is about choices. I have offered this for those who are like entrepreneurs. And what it is, the reason I'm excited about it and really feel proud of this type of intuitive reading that I do is that you present me with options. So say your option is I got a job in San Francisco, Viv, or I'm thinking of moving to Texas, or I'm thinking of marrying my boyfriend and moving to Georgia. So 3 choices. You can present up to 3 choices to me, and you actually don't have to tell me at the beginning. I actually prefer not to know. And then I pull for each choice, you guys. It's a beautiful reading, and I'm calling it Life Choices. Usually I only did it for business people. It was priced a little higher, and it was like if they were thinking of business choices. So again, you come in with 3 choices that you're thinking of. It could just be 2. And I read for each one, and you'll see, okay, this one seems to bring me in conflict with blah, blah, blah. This one seems to have more support. So if you're interested in that, just let me put it in the link. This is the easiest way because I don't have it set up at this point on a page that's up. Assistant at In the Flow of Magic, because I truly believe we can live our lives in the flow. So that is like a life choices reading. So write me if you're interested in that, and I can just send you info. Um, and so before I wrap up, accepting divine help, it can be very subtle. You have to quiet your mind. And I say this constantly, but it will also be persistent, soft but persistent. Often the help or the guidance you're being told, okay? Something irritating may happen that kind of gets your attention, but in that irritation, there's often a message. And ask for signs for help. When you need help, ask for help and ask for signs to help you make a decision. Okay. So I put my business email up there. And also now I'm going to see what Beatla says. Beatla says, the scarf is gorgeous. I have a variety of scarves and often wrap my head with them just to protect my crown. A few months. Okay. They have. Yeah. See, no, I didn't think Muslims per se would take offense. It was the people who I think don't like Muslims who I thought would be like, oh, is she a Muslim? And I just didn't need that additional like negativity of people's, yeah, exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're like, if I being black and I've got a head wrap, they're gonna assume, okay, that's a Muslim woman. And there's, as you know, in Europe, as well as, let's be honest, touching again into politics, there is a lot of anti-Muslim sentiment. And so It isn't like this. I'm like, come on, in the 60s, the stylish ladies wore headscarves. I may start doing it. I don't know. It does feel exactly. It feels more protective. Yes, of your crown. So I would say this is for women who are, and I touched on that. You beatless, you caught that. It's like if you are very open, there is something about having your head wrapped that contains that energy to you. So I would say, especially women who are more sensitive, and maybe it's not in your religious background. Obviously, we see many religions, they do cover the head, even the men, right? It isn't about, oh, the women have to cover their head, but many religions cover the head. What I felt with that is a containment of our energy in terms of almost, it's not that you're blocking out spirit, but if you're very open, it can be nice, especially if you're outside, to have that protection. Okay, that's just my thoughts on that. So it was really nice to hang out with you guys. I think I'm going to try to do some lives more through, it's December 7th. I may not do every day. Also, those of you who are in Blacksit Global. Blacksit Global is Krishan's channel. She is a Black woman who during COVID was getting, no, not during COVID, during one of the beatings and killings of Black people, um, was getting really depressed. And I think it did cross into COVID time. And so she started planning her exit of the United States. Anyway, I'm doing a presentation. So if you're a member of Blacksit Global, okay, and I believe that is the name of her channel, in her community, I'm going to present on how I traveled earlier this year for almost 6 months with really low to moderate income. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to give a detailed presentation for her group. And it's supposed to be probably the upcoming weekend, if not Monday. I wanted it to be on the weekend. She was proposing Monday. We'll see. It is her group. It's her group, right? So if she says, hold on, let me take this down. If she says Monday, I will do Monday. But again, it's how, if you're needing a break from the United States, and I'm talking to you guys, I don't know your background. I can't see you. So some of you, I know it might sound ridiculous, like I can't go anywhere. But as I said, I traveled for nearly 6 months on a low budget, slow traveled, and just it's like a little break, a little sabbatical, a little rest for you, especially if you can work online or you are retired, is when it would work. It can't work if you need obviously to go into a job. So anyway, I'm doing that presentation. If you're interested and if you're a member of Blacksit Global, then do look out for it. All right, any last questions or comments? I think I'm gonna go. It's almost an hour. And yeah, I feel really good. You can see it. I am just feeling like relieved. I'm gonna, in the next lives, just talk about different things of my experience. Hopefully that can help you or will resonate with you. I'm gonna talk a little bit, maybe about, not because I don't believe in travel. I think Mother Earth needs us to really pick a place and ground. So that is what I am working on here through this past year. Um, but yeah, I'll talk about different topics. Again, leave me once I'm going to stop the live now, in the comments, leave me what you'd like me to work on, affirmations, affirmations for pregnancy. I'm getting that somebody wants for fertility. I have some beautiful affirmations for immune system that didn't get a lot of views, but I felt that it definitely helped many people. It got a couple hundred views, but it should get out to more people. So let me know what types of things you want in terms of spirituality for women. And we'll talk to you soon. And probably you'll see me tomorrow. God, I always say God, Goddess willing. All right. Bye for now.